Today I'm doing an oil change on my 2012 Honda Civic. Some of the things you'll need: drain pan, brake cleaner. If you've ever seen any of my videos before, you'll know two things. One, I make poor quality videos. Two, I use a lot of brake clean. So there's that. Some paper towels, some oil. It takes around 4.5 quarts. Clean funnel, oil filter, 17mm wrench, or a socket on your ratchet. I happen to have over 20,000 miles on this oil. Last time I used Amsoil Signature Series, and they say that it's good for up to 25,000 miles. There you go, 25,000 miles. So I actually have 21,283 miles on this oil. And I changed the filter at 15,000 and topped it back off. So this is the 020 weight. And I'm going to send the oil that I drain out of here to the lab, because I got the oil analysis, I can't even say it, sample deal. And I'm going to send that in and see how good a shape or how bad a shape the oil's in after 21,283 miles. After your engine's warmed up, lift and support your vehicle. Put it up on ramps. I have mine lifted because I don't have my ramps right now. You could go make sure that your oil cap will come loose. Just back it off a couple threads. Pop your dipstick up and out. And then we'll head down here. And I'll try to block the lens as good as I can. And right here, in the back of the oil pan, you have your engine. See, it even says engine oil, 17mm. And as you can see, we got a little oil leak here. And it looks like it's coming from the oil filter. So I'll have to investigate that. So get your drain plug and crack it loose. I already did. Drain pan's underneath. You gotta kind of guess where it's gonna go, and then back this guy off and hope you catch it. There we go. It's all going in the pan. That's what 20,000 mile oil looks like. Yummy. So the oil is draining. It's just about done. As it was draining, I took my little sample, and I'm going to send it to this lab. I bought this kit from Amsoil, but there's other companies that sell or produce these kits, and it'll tell us what the condition of the oil is, if it would have been good to continue using, or if I'm causing harm to my engine. I don't really know. I'm changing my oil anyway, but once I get the results back, I will put the results of my oil at the end of this video. But for now, we're going to continue on with the oil change. Looks like we're getting to the end of the road here for the oil. It's just dripping out. I didn't mention it in my things you'll need list, but you probably should change the crush washer. This is the old one. But, I mean, you don't need to. I've gone plenty of times without replacing it, but I have them, so I'm going to replace it. So that's just dripping out. And I'm going to just start threading this one back in. Make sure you get it on there straight. You know the story. Hand tight. And then grab your ratchet and just snug it on there. Don't need to go crazy. And I like to use my brake clean and clean off the area. I'm also going to clean off this pan and stuff once I take off the filter. Once all the oil's drained out, I like to tighten my drain plug like I just did. And then I go onto the oil filter, put my pan relatively below it, and get on there and loosen up. It wasn't very tight, so that could be my leak issue. Oh, we're starting to drip into our pan, and this is just going to be messy. And just keep on unthreading it. Let the nasty oil drip down your arm. It's the best. And then that's it. Let the oil drain from there. Make sure that your gasket is on the oil filter and not on your block up there where it'll never focus. There you go. Yeah, because then you'll have issues. Okay, I hosed everything down with brake cleaner. Still dripping. And I like to take a towel or rag and wipe off the mating surface of the gasket. And it looks like my leak was coming from the gasket surface of the oil filter. It just wasn't very tight. So after about 6,000 miles, it seemed to have worked loose because it just started leaking. So something to think about. Maybe want to go back and check your oil filter from time to time. I don't like to tighten them crazy tight, but it shouldn't come loose like that. Okay, once you got the block all cleaned off where the filter will go, just dump a little bit of new oil in the filter. And then this is kind of an important step. Take some new oil and rub it all over the gasket, all the way around. That way it doesn't stick to the block the next time you do it. Back underneath the car, got my oil filter filled with oil, gasket's properly oiled. And you just want to gently start the threads. It's kind of hard to do with one hand holding the camera and all that. There we go. Spin it on. Seat it. Give it a good crank. And then I'll take a rag just to give me more grip and tighten it down a little bit more. Oh man, you can't even see. Tighten it down a little bit more anyway. Got everything tight down below. Back up top. Clean funnel. Got my oil. I'm going to dump in this. This is a gallon, so that's 4 quarts. I'm going to dump that in first. Lower it down. Start the car, let it run for 30 seconds, shut it off, and we're going to check the oil and add until it's full. Glug, glug. Alright, I got 4 quarts in there. Let it run for a minute. I'm going to pull the dipstick. And I'm going to wipe that off. Blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. Stick the dipstick back in. And then we're going to check it. Okay. We're a little low, which we should be. It should hold about 4.5 quarts. So I'm going to go ahead and add until that's full. Just as I predicted, I added another 1/2 quart, and we are right on. Nice and full. So then just replace your dipstick. Pull out your funnel. And then put your oil cap back on. I put a little bit of fresh oil around the seal where the mating surface is for the cap. And then I'm just going to tighten that up. And that's it. Your oil's changed. Should be good to go for another X amount of 1,000 miles, depending on how far you want to push it. I almost forgot to show you how to change your oil change light, or clear it. That will pop up there. Service engine soon, oil, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Go over to your menu. And it'll bring you right there. And you scroll up. Vehicle information. Maintenance info. Oil life 100%, which, because I just reset it, but if you just select it, reset. Would you like to reset your information? Yes. And then exit with the menu button, and bam, you're at 100%. It's been a few days. I got my oil report back. I got it emailed to me, and I just printed it off. So it just goes through your secret Area 51 personal information, and then the other information you put about the vehicle, the type of oil that was in there, the grade and all that. So after 21,000 miles, was my oil still good? Well, yes and no. Because when you look at this on the email, they give you normal is green, abnormal is like a yellow, and then you get into orange and red. So I was at a number 3 for abnormal. But it wasn't really the oil's fault. If you look, you can't tell here, but the nickel and aluminum was green, so that was good. And the boron was good. But where we ran into an alarm was fuel dilution and water. And so here it says, check for fuel leaks, fuel's at a significant level, blah, blah, blah. So I could have bad injectors or timing. But this is what I'm thinking. It says additional causes may include heavy throttle application. So that's basically how I drive that thing, because it has no power, so you have to just hold it right to the rugs. Or excessive, let's see, frequent short trips, excessive idling. Water is at a moderate level. Water may be present due to a cold unit. Well, it was 10 below when I did the oil change, and I only let it warm up for a few minutes. So that may have been the issue with the water. As far as the oil is concerned, base number is slightly low. Base number depletes, the ability to neutralize acids is diminished. Aluminum is at a minor level. Blah, blah, blah. It says aluminum's in engines, of course. So there's always going to be minor amounts. Nickel is at a minor level. Possible valve train, guide material. Boron is slightly low for this lubricant. Boron levels may naturally decline with use, but is not cause for concern. So it's interesting. So Amsoil says it's good for 25,000 miles. In this case, I don't think it was, but that's because I had other possible underlying issues, or whatever the case. So I think this time I got the exact same oil in. I'm going to go about 10,000 miles and send in a sample and see if there's any difference.